What's up YouTube, NCG here bringing you a budget Fluffal deck. Now budget is £50 or less, and thanks to Fusion Forces this deck is easily budget and still very competitive. It works very well. So without further ado, I'm going to crack straight into it and I'll try and go through the prices as we go. These aren't exact to the point penny prices, but this is what I would say you shouldn't pay any more for. So, start off with Triple Fluffal Dog. Now they came out in Super in Fusion Forces. I wouldn't pay more than £1 for the playset. Of the Supers, you'd probably play a little bit more, but otherwise I'll just stick with the rares that you can get from new challenges. I mean, people that are upgrading their Fluffal decks, rarity bumping them, go and get your lower rarities, get a hell of a lot cheaper. You can probably get £1 like a playset before. Triple Fluffal Bear, again, £1 for a playset, very cheap. They also had their reprint in Star Pack as well, so you can pick these up very cheaply. Like, I wouldn't pay any more than £1 for the playset of that. Playset of Fluffal Wings. Now I'm pretty sure this only had one print in Dimension of Chaos, and I think it was a short print. I'm not 100% sure, but again, I probably wouldn't pay more than £2, maybe £3 if you want to push the boat out. £3 for the playset, but you need this combo in this meta. So for those of you who don't know, the combo is you send Bear to the graveyard to get your toy vendor, activate your toy vendor, send Wings. If you get a special summon off it, happy days. If not, it doesn't matter. You use Wings to target your Fluffal Bear and your toy vendor. You banish the two Wings and Bear, draw 2 cards, destroy your vendor, and then you get your search. Next up, Triple Agent's Chain. Now this helps out massively getting into Kraken, and when it's destroyed it gets a search off. You can drop this down to 2 if you wish, which would take the deck back down to a 40 card deck, because it is 41 at the moment. Again, in Super, you're probably not going to be paying too much, but again, it's already had its reprints, so you can pick it up really cheaply. Edgimp Sabers, it's had 2 reprints I believe, so it came out first in New Challenges, it then got a reprint in Star Pack, and it also got a reprint in Fusion Forces. So again, very cheap, and this is your card that gets into your other Fusion monsters. Double King of Swamp, again another reprint, and it also came in the Legendary Gold decks, very cheap. You could probably £1 each, maybe less, £1 for the pair. Next up, Fluffal Penguin. Now, if you're taking Chain down to 2, you could put Fluffal Penguin up to 3. Fluffal Penguin is very good. So, basically, during your main phase, you can special summon 1 Fluffal monster from your hand. So, he helps get into rank 4 plays. Along with Instant Fusion, it can get you into Bahamut, Shark, and Toad. Now, this is a budget deck, £50 or less. And the main deck kind of comes to about 25 quid. So, if I wanted a Toad in there, I would only have the Toad. So, this does not contain the Toad engine. However, it can be done. Putting Penguin out, it just helps you get into your rank 4s a lot easier. Double Fluffal Owl. Now this is your, it can search out your poly when it's normal summoned, and if you don't normal summon this, you can also normal summon it searches your poly. If you don't normal summon and use the search, you can use its second effect to pay 500 life points on poly if your opponent has like anti-spell or anything like that. So it can be dropped down, but again, this is very budget. Pick these up really cheaply. Fluffal Cat. Now, Fluffal Cat is a really interesting one. When it's used as... Oh, I did forget to mention as well about Penguin, is it's basically like a mini Graceful Charity when it's used as fusion material. You draw 2, discard 1, which is very good in Fluffals. Cat. Cat is a very nice way that when you make Tiger to pop your opponent's stuff, you can have Cat go as Chain Link 2 to stop it being striked. And then Cat recycles the poly back to hand, which is very nice. That's it for the monsters. Spells. Triple Toy Vendor. You can play Foolish Bearer of Goods, as I've been told in this deck, to send Toy Vendor. However, again, I have been trying to keep this deck budget, and I believe Foolish Bearer of Goods here in the UK is about £10 to £12. So Toy Vendor, very good. Got a rare reprint, so shouldn't be hard to pick up. In regards to Owl, very cheap, and Cat, probably about 10p if you're lucky. Just pick it up from a 10p box in your local store. Toy Vendors, again, very cheap. Discard 1, draw 1, show it. If it's a Fluffal, special summon 1 monster from your hand. Otherwise, discard the card to the graveyard. And then when Toy Vendor is sent to the graveyard, you add 1 Edgimp Sabers or Fluffal monster from your deck to your hand. Triple Polymerization. Now again, this got a reprint, and it's had God knows how many reprints. So it's very cheap, and you must play 3 of this. Next up, 2 Fusion Recycling Plant and a Terraformer to search the Fusion Recycling Plant. It's basically your discard fodder to then get your cycle backs and draws. So you get your poly from grave or a poly from deck. Again, very cheap. Came out in Raging Tempest as a rare. The ultra rare as a promo. 2 Fight for a Fusion. Again, another reprint, but it's very good because it makes you fusion summon by banishing fusion materials listed on it from your graveyard. 2 Fusion Recovery. Again, got a nice reprint. You target 1 poly and 1 fusion monster material that was used, and add them from the graveyard to your hand. Now, this is probably less so needed to bring back the poly, for the pure fact that you've already got Fusion Recycling Plant and Cat to do that, but this can obviously help double up as a poly and bring back the material for you to use again. Now, these two twin twisters, they can be, I mean, the budget is there to have twin twisters if you wish, but if your budget's a little bit tighter and you want to make this deck for about £30 or less, you can take these out for MSTs, because like I said, the Fusion Recycling Plant is also a discard fodder, so you don't need to worry about your twin twisters as much. But you do want to be clearing double back row. 2 Instant Fusion, again, a very nice reprint from Fusion Forces, probably about £2, £2.50 each. This can help get you your sheep, and then you can use your sheep to skip a level and go straight into Sabertooth. Sabertooth will then revive the sheep. So it's a very, very good one. And again, with the Toad build, you can put Northern and Rare Fish in the deck if you wish to, and that in turn will then get you a more protective theme. But again, you're going to be pumping more money into the deck. That is fully necessary. Again, reprinted in Fusion Forces is Graisley Prison. This card is like the cheap man's barrier. It's a heck of a lot cheaper. So basically, if you control a face-up monster that was tributed, ritualed, or fusion summoned, which you most 9 times out of 10 will do, until the end of your opponent's next turn, neither player can synchro summon or XYZ summon. Synchro and XYZ monsters cannot attack, also their effects are negated. So it's a very, very nice, like I said, cheap man's D-barrier. And lastly, Solemn Warning. Again, cheap card, very, very good card. So yeah, very, very straightforward on that. Now on to the extra deck. Now, extra deck. The brand new card, Fight for a Kraken. You can play this at free if you wish, but I don't think you necessarily have to. It can be done, but you don't have to. And this card is only about £5. It's relatively cheap in the UK anyway. It's 1 Edging monster and 1 Fluffal monster, so it's very specific. You can't very open. You can't use King of the Swamp for it. However, it's just a lot easier to make. Once per turn, you can target 1 monster your opponent controls, send it to the graveyard. This card cannot attack directly the turn this effect is activated. However, this card can make a second attack during each battle phase. Once per turn, at the end of the battle phase, if this card battles, you can change this card to defense position. So, very, very good with Kraken. Get double attack. The best thing about Kraken as well is, if you bring Kraken out, use this effect to send one of your opponent's monsters, then fuse it and bring out Sabertooth. Sabertooth then revives it, unlocking its effect again. So you can either then target a monster and send it to the graveyard, or Kraken can attack directly twice, which is very, very nice, because you've probably got game by the time you've done that. Maybe just shy. I mean, Sabertooth goes up to 28, and then Kraken will go up to 26 times 2. So I think you're just shy of gaming it. But still, it's a very, very good card, very, very strong. And until they get patchwork, you know, this is still very, very competitive. 2 Fright First Sabertooth Tiger, and this got reprinted in Mega Pack 2016, so it is again very, very cheap. If it's created with 3 or more materials, it can't be destroyed by battle or card effect. And it just revives a fusion monster, I believe. I think it's Fright First Fusion Fire. When this card is fusion summoned, you can target 1 Fright First monster in your graveyard to special summon it. All Fright First monsters you control gain 400 attack. So it's a very, very good staple card. Fight for Sheep, this was the expensive card of deck, but because it got a reprint in Fusion Forces, it's again very, very cheap. If this card battles, your opponent cannot activate cards effects until the end of damage, such as an Armades. And then if this card is destroyed by battle or sent to the graveyard by a card effect, it revives itself, giving itself 800 attack. Next up, Fright for a Wolf. You can lower this down if you want. The only reason I like Fright for a Wolf is the best thing about him is when you make him, you can pretty much make him with as many materials as you like, and he can attack that many times. As 2k, he's fine, but if he's then on the board with Sabertooth or Tiger, he's then gaining even more attack, and he can just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times, 7 times, 8 times, depending on how many materials you've used for him, which I think is very, very good. Next up, no, you don't have to have 3. I think they look really, really cool. They're very, very cheap. Is 3 Fright Fur Tiger in Secret Rare, thanks to the reprint in Fusion in Forces. Now, you don't have to play 3. You can easily play this down to 2 if you wish. And again, if you have a bit more money you want to put into it, and you want to put the Toad and Shark engine in, by all means, this is one of the first ones you would cut down. The real good thing about this one is when it's brought on board, like I said, if you use it with Cat, your opponent can't strike it if you put Cat as Chain Link 2. So Fright for Tiger then pops the same amount of cards as Fusion Materials was used for it, which is very, very nice. And then all Fright for monsters you control gain 300 attack for each Fluffal monster and Fright for monster you control. So he's a massive attack booster, and he's clearing your opponent's board. And I mean, unless they're going to be dropping a blooming Menko or a Battle Fader on you, you've pretty much got game with Tiger. There's a very nice combo that can get you Tiger, Wolf or Kraken and Sabertooth on board, which is very, very nice. Last up is Fight for a Bay. You don't have to play this card. The only reason I do play this card is for the pure fact that it can help you with stuff like snow. So if you're playing Infernoids and you attack their snow, you can then equip snow. If your opponent doesn't have enough to revive snow, but after battling the rest of their monsters it does, you take snow and equip it to this monster, and they can't use snow's effect to then moon you. 1 Castel, 1 Abyss Dweller. You can bump up your rank 4s. This is very, very shy on rank 4s, and it's easier to make with Penguin now. And like I said, with Penguin you can then go into Toad and Infinity, Toad and Shark, but I've tried to keep this as budget as possible. And then finally, with the budget, because I've saved a few pennies, Starving Venom Fusion Dragon is possible in this deck, and it's very, very strong in this deck as well. Just as an out, it's a very nice card to play. You don't have to play it. It is all down to personal preference. Now, I would say you probably don't want to be spending any more than about 25 quid on the extra deck, purely because they've had so many reprints. Kraken and Venom are the only ones that will cost you a bit of money in there. In the main deck, everything has had a reprint. And like I said, Twin Twist is probably what's going to cost you the money, but you can take them out for MSTs very, very, very easily. So that is the budget Fluffal deck for £50 or less. So if you're on a tight budget and you still want to compete, £50 or less, simple as that. It is a very, very strong deck. It's very, very fun to play. Yeah, it's just something that's unexpected. I mean, like when I first played these, you drop a dog and you know, as an opponent you go, huh? And then the second they change it out and bring out like these, you know, absolute beasts of cards, you're like, how can something so cute turn into something so aggressive? But they're very, very good. And you know, not much more needs to be said about them. They're very, very strong, very, very good, very, very fun. So yeah, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share. And until next time, guys, see ya.